Florida. Blue seas, golden sunshine, endless skies, and a mild climate all year round. It was once the dream of millions of Americans, especially those nearing retirement. A small home by the beach, slow afternoons, and a peaceful life in their golden years. But that was the Florida of years past. The Florida of late 2025 is changing so quickly that many people can't keep up. Over 8,000 homes are now sitting unsold in cities that were once in high demand. Home insurance has jumped more than 70% in just 2 years. Home prices are falling, Airbnb investments have become burdens, and many people over 50 are stuck with heavy debt simply because they chose the wrong place to buy in. If you're thinking about buying a home in Florida for retirement, investment, or relocation, watch this video to the end before signing any contract. I'll share with you the list of the 10 worst cities to buy a home in Florida by the end of 2025, along with data and warnings you won't see in real estate ads or news reports. Sit tight, because the final city on this list will truly surprise you. 10. Cape Coral, Florida. The Golden Canal, slowly turning into a trap. When Governor Ron DeSantis stated at the beginning of 2025 that Florida's real estate market may be heading toward a significant correction, he wasn't just talking. Cape Coral, one of the places once considered the secret paradise for retirees, is becoming the clearest evidence of that warning. In just 1 year, the median home price in Cape Coral has dropped more than 10%, down to about $341,000 USD. Compared to its peak in mid-2022, the decline has reached 13 to 14%. This correction is not just a short-term drop. It is a clear reminder that the market here is losing momentum, and short-term recovery is very fragile. Buying at this moment, especially for the 50-plus group, could be a high-risk gamble. Why does Cape Coral top the list of cities to avoid? Rising ownership costs. Even though purchase prices seem affordable, the annual expenses are not. Home insurance, hurricane and flood insurance, property taxes, HOA fees can consume thousands of dollars each year, a significant burden for those living on pensions or fixed savings. Existing natural disaster risks. With low terrain and a dense canal system, Cape Coral lies in a high-risk zone for flooding and strong storms. After the Hurricane Ian disaster, insurance costs skyrocketed, and the fear of insecurity became constant, especially for the elderly. Illiquid market. Many homes have been listed for a long time, buyers are fewer, and actual selling prices are lower than expected. If you need to sell in the next few years, due to health reasons or relocation, getting out of this asset may not be easy. Cape Coral was once an ideal choice for those who wanted to live close to nature, with reasonable prices and a slow-paced life. But by the end of 2025, the city is showing many warning signs. Costs are no longer low, risks are rising, and the market may continue to decline. This is no longer the place where buying means profit. This is where you must carefully calculate every dollar of expense, from insurance to home maintenance, in a context where climate change is increasingly evident and the housing market is becoming unstable. If you are at retirement age and considering a major decision, ask yourself, do I need a beautiful place or a truly safe and sustainable one to live long-term? Cape Coral is a warning, not an invitation. 9. Lakeland, Florida. A city in between, where risks are taking shape. Located between Tampa and Orlando, Lakeland was once seen as the perfect buffer zone for those who wanted to live near major cities without the burden of big city costs. With home prices more affordable than coastal areas and a slower pace of life, It used to be an attractive choice for many planning their retirement. But by the end of 2025, the picture is beginning to change. The median home price in Lakeland is now around $311,000, still lower than in many other parts of the state. However, what's noteworthy is the nearly 4% decline over the past year. This shows that the market has moved past its hot growth phase, and the once popular belief of buy today, profit tomorrow is fading fast. Sellers are cutting prices, listings are staying longer, and market liquidity is visibly weakening. In terms of ownership costs, it's true that Lakeland initially offers an advantage with lower purchase prices. But for those aged 50 and older, living on pensions or fixed income, the hidden expenses are what really matter. Property taxes, maintenance fees, utilities, and especially insurance, all of which are rising in line with the statewide trend. This means that even a budget-friendly home can become a long-term burden if your finances aren't flexible enough. Another weakness lies in the local economic structure. Lakeland relies heavily on mid- to low-income industries, such as logistics, retail, and services. This can be a concern if you plan to live, find work, or expect economic growth in the long run. Additionally, housing supply in Lakeland is growing fast, while demand is starting to plateau. This not only puts pressure on sale prices, but also increases liquidity risk. If you need to sell your home due to health reasons or lifestyle changes, the chances of waiting long or selling below expectations are quite real. Lakeland is not a clear danger zone, but it's no longer a promised land either. If you're looking for a place to live long-term, not banking on price appreciation, and well-prepared financially, it can still be an acceptable choice. But if you're buying for profit, or not ready for unpredictable costs, this could become a decision you'll pay for later. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this video still has cities that will shock you even more than Lakeland. 8. Port St. Lucie. A choice that once felt comfortable, but costs are changing by the day. If you're looking for a city in Florida with affordable housing, pleasant nature, and not too far from the coast, Port St. Lucie, PSL might seem like the ideal choice. It used to be a favorite destination for people aged 50 and above. Not as crowded as Miami, not as expensive as Naples, yet still carrying the calm, livable charm of a peaceful place to retire. However, by the end of 2025, PSL is entering a phase where buyers need to be more cautious than ever. The median home price here ranges between $383,000 to $400,000, having dropped about 4 to 5% over the past year. This not only shows the market is cooling, but also reflects a reality. If you buy now, you're no longer riding the growth wave. You're stepping into a market that's tugging in both directions, with no clear trend. A major risk for buyers is the weakening liquidity. The average number of days to sell a home in PSL is getting longer. That means if you need to relocate, downsize, or sell due to financial reasons, waiting months or accepting a lower price has become a realistic outcome. In terms of living costs, PSL is no longer the bargain it once was. Even though home prices remain moderate, the ongoing costs after purchase are the real challenge. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance expenses, and in many cases, HOA or community fees. When added up, a $400,000 home could cost several $1,000s more each year. Not exactly pleasant if you're living on a fixed pension or limited savings. Port St. Lucie isn't a bad place. But if you come in with the wrong expectations, assuming prices will rise quickly or costs will stay light, you may face a harsh reality. This is a neutral market, no longer cheap enough to experiment, but not strong enough to bet on. 7. Ocala. Cheap, easy to buy. But is it easy to live? Among the cities that sound reasonable for buying a home in Florida, Ocala is often mentioned as a bright spot, and for good reason. Home prices here are hundreds of thousands of dollars lower than the state average. With about $270,000, you can own a spacious, well-kept house, something that cities like Sarasota or Miami can only dream of. But the real question is, why is it so cheap? And what's the real price to pay? Ocala didn't experience a massive housing boom between 2020 and 2022. So by late 2025, prices haven't crashed like in overheated cities, but they haven't risen either. The 3.6% annual decline is a clear sign that this is not the destination for those seeking quick profits from real estate. The market mainly serves retirees and local residents, meaning speculative cash flow and strong growth are unlikely to happen. The cost of living in Ocala is more manageable than in coastal areas. Home insurance is significantly cheaper due to fewer hurricanes, and property taxes are lower thanks to cheaper homes and lower incomes. But that creates a paradox. If you plan to live off local wages, mostly from retail, logistics, or service sectors, you'll quickly realize that the average salary of about $53,000 per year makes life less comfortable than it seems. Ocala suits retirees or remote workers with stable income from outside the area. But if you're looking to build a career here, the cost of living may be low, but income potential is also limited, and that's the price of peace and quiet. Additionally, one important note is that housing supply in Ocala remains abundant. The city still has plenty of vacant land, and new developments keep popping up. This means there's a risk of housing oversupply if the economy slows down. And in that scenario, today's buyers could become sellers, waiting endlessly for offers that never come. Ocala isn't a danger zone like some cities in decline, but it's also not the promised land for those hoping for quick returns. Cheap prices are a plus, but they don't equal opportunity. This is a market for buyers with long-term vision, awareness, and no illusions. What do you think about Ocala? If you're at or nearing retirement and planning to buy a home, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your perspective. 6. Fort Lauderdale. Beneath the glamour lies a hard truth. No place in Florida represents the retirement dream more vividly than Fort Lauderdale. Canals winding through luxury neighborhoods, yachts docked by the decks, sunlit skies, and oceanfront condos catching the sea breeze. On the surface, everything looks nearly perfect. But behind that glittering facade lies a reality that homebuyers, especially those over 50, must think through very carefully before stepping in. This city isn't just threatened by hurricanes and tidal flooding, but also by ordinary rain. Many neighborhoods that seem safe can be underwater after just one heavy downpour. Aging infrastructure, combined with rising sea levels and overloaded drainage systems, has made flooding increasingly common. And that's only the beginning of a long list of worries. Buying a home in Fort Lauderdale may seem manageable for some, but maintaining life here is not. Coastal home insurance has surged sharply in recent years, with many insurers withdrawing from the market or tightening policy requirements. Condo fees have skyrocketed after mandatory structural inspections, under the new law following the Surfside building collapse, sometimes with special assessments reaching tens of thousands of dollars for repairs or upgrades. There have been retired couples who came here dreaming of morning beach walks and afternoon kayaking along the canals. But just a few years later, they were forced to sell at a loss because they could no longer bear the rising costs. As one resident said, "We weren't swept away by the water. We drowned in the bills." Fort Lauderdale remains alluring. But allure doesn't mean financial safety. This is a city for those with strong budgets, a clear understanding of the rules, and the readiness to handle unexpected costs at any time. Before being blinded by its beauty, ask yourself one practical question. Do I have the financial and mental capacity to live in a place where a single storm could wipe out everything I've planned? Have you ever thought of Fort Lauderdale as your retirement destination? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. 5. Fort Myers, Florida. The beach dream is drifting away. Have you ever imagined owning a seaside home where the sun pours in, the ocean breeze drifts through, and every morning feels like a vacation? Fort Myers used to be the perfect image of that dream. But by the end of 2025, what makes this city worrisome no longer lies in its beauty, but in the quiet numbers sending out warnings beneath the surface. The median home price in Fort Myers has dropped about 13.7% in just 12 months. The average time to sell a home has now stretched to 90 days, much longer than during the market's peak. The buy fast, profit fast fever is over. And now, buyers entering this market must face a simple truth. Prices could continue to fall. For those aged 50 and above, buying to retire or settle long-term, the risk isn't just a mild price drop. It's the possibility of being stuck if you ever need to sell. It's the risk of taking a loss if the market keeps cooling. And if your finances depend on a pension or savings, the ongoing cost of owning a home here, coastal insurance, property taxes, regular maintenance, can quickly become a serious burden. Here's what few people mention. Even as home prices fall, annual costs do not. Home insurance in the Fort Myers area can swallow thousands of dollars per year, especially for older houses, coastal properties, or those in high-risk hurricane zones. That means cheaper prices lose their advantage if your budget can't keep up with everything else. Fort Myers still has its charm. A large retiree community, good amenities, and a picturesque waterfront landscape. But the overall picture isn't as bright as before. This is no longer a place where you can safely buy and hold, nor is it a place that's easy to exit if you need to sell quickly. Leave a comment if you've ever considered Fort Myers or have first-hand experience living there. Your insight could help others make wiser decisions. 4. Jacksonville, Florida. Glamorous on the outside, risky on the inside. Jacksonville, Florida's largest city by land area, was once expected to become the state's next real estate star. Its vast land, booming new developments, and affordable prices compared to coastal cities made it look like a golden opportunity for retirees or anyone seeking a new place to settle. But the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. Behind the lively surface lies a buildup of hidden risks. The median home price in Jacksonville still ranks lower than in hot markets like Miami or Naples, and that's exactly the trap that misleads buyers. In reality, price growth has nearly stalled over the past year. Sales have slowed. Sellers wait endlessly for buyers, while buyers keep waiting for prices to drop further. A mid-range home can now sit on the market for weeks, something no one would have imagined back in 2021. Jacksonville used to be seen as an easy-to-live city. Decent infrastructure, low upfront costs, and plenty of living space. But those advantages are fading fast. Home insurance rates are rising after recent climate disruptions and updated flood risk maps. Property taxes and HOA fees, especially in planned communities, are no longer light. For retirees, these costs aren't just extra fees. They're long-term burdens on a fixed budget. Another issue few mention. Jacksonville may be large, but it's also spread out. Many neighborhoods are isolated, lacking essential services for older residents. Getting to a major hospital or a specialist can take 30 to 40 minutes. Not ideal for those seeking peace of mind in their later years. And you? Have you ever considered living in Jacksonville? Share your thoughts or questions below, because your story might help someone else make the right choice. 3. Pensacola, Florida. The sea is still beautiful, but stability is cracking. Pensacola has long been a favorite for those wanting to live near the ocean without paying Miami or Naples prices. With a median home price of around $260,000, many people over 50 have seen it as a budget harbor for their later years. But by the end of 2025, market signals suggest you should think very carefully before making that move. Home prices here have dropped about 3 to 4% in a year. Not a crash, but a clear sign that the growth momentum is gone. Many homes now sit on the market for weeks, even months, without inquiries. Sellers are beginning to cut prices. A sharp contrast to the rising price optimism from just a few years ago. A retired couple from Ohio once shared that they thought they'd found paradise after moving into a small home near the beach in Pensacola. But after 3 consecutive hurricane seasons and tens of thousands spent on insurance and maintenance, they're now considering moving out, only to find themselves stuck trying to sell in a slowing market. What makes Pensacola risky isn't a dramatic price collapse, but rather its position caught between two worlds. Not attractive enough to surge, not cheap enough to be a true bargain. If you're buying simply because it's affordable and the beach is nice, you may be overlooking long-term financial risks. From insurance and maintenance costs to low liquidity when it's time to sell. If you're weighing a retirement destination where budget and stability come first, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because the next cities will reveal even more hidden truths most people aren't ready to talk about. 2. Miami Beach. Is the glamour cracking day by day? When people think of Miami Beach, they imagine bright neon lights, world-famous beaches, and a vibrant, trendy lifestyle. But behind that dazzling exterior, this city has become the very symbol of America's climate crisis. Since 2023, rising sea levels and high tides are no longer distant threats. Sunny day flooding, when streets flood even without rain, has become reality in once coveted neighborhoods like south of 5th and Sunset Harbor. Residents now elevate their homes, install water pumps, and face insurance bills climbing without end. Many affluent homeowners have quietly left Miami Beach, leaving behind expensive but risky properties. For those aged 50 and older, the danger isn't just from the climate, it's from regulation. After the Surfside condo collapse in 2021, Florida tightened its inspection and maintenance requirements for condominiums. The result? A wave of mandatory repairs triggering special assessments, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars per unit. You might buy your dream condo, only to receive a notice months later demanding an extra $20,000 to $30,000 for structural upgrades. For anyone on a fixed retirement income, that's a real shock. If you're looking for a place to retire peacefully, not just to show off a lifestyle, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because the final city on this list might surprise you even more than Miami Beach. 1. Punta Gorda, a hidden paradise until the storm turned it over. Once known as the peaceful oasis for retirees, Punta Gorda carried the charm of a quiet coastal town, where time moved slowly, nature felt close, and living costs were gentle. But everything changed on one fateful day. When Hurricane Ian struck in 2022, it didn't just rip off roofs, it tore apart the dream of a safe place to spend one's golden years. Nearly 70% of homes in the area were damaged. Windows shattered, roofs peeled away, foundations sank into mud. The images of elderly residents clutching what little they could carry as they fled the homes they'd loved for decades shocked the entire country. But the crueler truth is, many never returned. Repair costs soared. Home insurance surpassed $10,000 per year, and some companies even refused to renew policies. Punta Gorda became the clearest example of the price you pay for living on Florida's coast. By 2025, many neighborhoods still haven't fully recovered. The scars of the storm remain in half-patched roads and silent streets. And every hurricane season brings back the same fear. That disaster could strike again at any moment. If you're considering buying a coastal home and want a realistic perspective, leave a comment below. Would you trade peace for risk, or choose a safer place to begin the next chapter of your life? Florida is still a dream, but no longer an easy one to reach. Behind the sunshine and blue seas lie rising costs, natural disasters, and a housing market in rapid flux. If you're thinking about buying a home for retirement or relocation, take a moment and look closely at the 10 cities we've just explored. Each has its beauty and its undeniable warnings. You deserve a place that's safe and comfortable, but to keep that dream from becoming a burden, you have to choose the right place at the right time.